trillion that impacts your mortgage, your job prospects, your stock portfolio. So you've got an amazing. So what is a bond? Imagine you're starting a business. You've got an amazing idea. You've got all the drive in the world to make it happen, but you just don't have the money. So you go to someone who does and you borrow it. You make them a promise. You say, hey, I'll pay you back and I'll give you a little extra on top. That little extra on top is called interest. That is the cost of using someone else's money. $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. Because if you have $1 today, then you can use it to take advantage of opportunities as they arise. When someone gives you that money now, they're giving up that potential. So they want to be compensated for that, because otherwise they could have taken that same money and invested it in their own business or some other opportunity, or even something like the S&P 500. Now, people and companies often borrow money, but so do governments. And when a company or a government needs to borrow money, they do it by issuing bonds. That makes them the borrower or the issuer of the bond, and the investor is the lender. The US government is always spending money, whether it's on defense, roads, healthcare, or social security and beyond. And while a lot of that may sound altruistic, in reality, it's also strategic. Governments spend to stimulate productivity because productive citizens and businesses
Can't they just print
generate
money
tax
though?
revenues.
Like what the
Most of the
fuck?
government's revenues are going to come from taxes. So in the United States in 2022, 54% came from personal income taxes, 30% came from payroll taxes, and 9% came from corporate taxes, while the rest was from excise taxes and things like park fees and so on. But here's the thing. The US government tends to spend a lot more than it collects in revenues. And that gap between what they collect and what they spend is called the budget deficit. And every time we run a deficit, we're adding to the total national debt, which is the amount that the government owes from all past borrowing. Deficits are annual, the total debt is cumulative. The last time the US government ran a budget surplus was in 2001, which I find surprising because it's a very different picture from where we sit today. In 2024, the US had a $1.8 trillion deficit. So where does the extra money come from? The US Treasury borrows that money from the public by issuing bonds. As the government needs cash, the Treasury holds auctions, selling bonds to investors all over the world, and people tend to buy them. Banks, pension funds, insurance companies, even foreign governments, and also regular American citizens. Why do people show up to these auctions? Part of it is because US government bonds are considered one of the safest assets in the world. The day that the United States defaults on its debt would be a day where we probably have much bigger problems to deal with. So let's break down some of the terms around bonds. First, you have the principal, which is the amount being invested or the amount being borrowed. Then you have the coupon, which is the interest payment or the percent that you're going to receive on that bond on a yearly basis. Then you have the maturity, which is when the loan is due or how long the investor has to have their capital tied up. Finally, we have the yield, which is the return that the investor gets from the bond. And the reason that this is different from the coupon is because the price of the bond can change, which then affects the actual return. Bond prices go up and down, but the coupon, the dollar amount being paid on that bond, stays the same. And so because of that, the yield can move up or down based upon the price of the bond. If the price of the bond falls.
Nobody teaches you the truth about money. I studied at an economics faculty for 6 years and still didn't understand it. 9 years ago, I started reading every serious finance and money book I could find and summarizing them on YouTube. What I found contradicted almost everything I was taught. So one day, I went back to the professor I trusted most and asked him if what I was discovering was true. He looked at me and said, yes, all of it. He knew, but the textbook said otherwise. That's when I understood. The confusion isn't an accident. This video is the entire map of money. Everything those 15 years taught me, condensed into one place. Let's start from zero. In 1903, an American doctor named William Furness travels to a tiny island called Yap, a small piece of land in the middle of the Pacific Ocean that most people have never heard of. And he is confused by what he sees. The people of Yap use enormous stone discs as money. Some of them are 4 tons of solid limestone, the weight of an elephant. You cannot carry them, you cannot move them. They just sit there, in the village, by the road, outside someone's house. And here's the thing, they never move. Ever. When someone buys something, ownership transfers. But the stone stays exactly where it is. Everyone in the village simply agrees that stone now belongs to this family. But the story doesn't end there. Years ago, one family was transporting a particularly large stone by canoe. A storm came, and the stone sank to the bottom of the ocean. Nobody can take it out. Nobody can even see it. It still kept circulating as money. The entire island agreed that stone exists, and it belongs to this family, so they can spend it.
You. Just you.
What the genuine
building
frick?
your app. On base 44.
The stone was never the point. The agreement was. 2 of the greatest economists in history, Keynes and Milton Friedman, disagreed on almost everything. These 2 guys argued about economics their entire lives. Both of them independently read about Yap Island, and both of them said the exact same thing. These people understand money better than we do. So if money is just an agreement, where did that agreement come from? How did it start? You've probably heard the barter story. First, humans bartered. You give me your fish, I give you my bread. Then it got complicated, so we invented money. That story is not true. In 1776, economist Adam Smith wrote it down in his book. He wasn't describing history, he was making a logical argument. But for 250 years, economists treated it as a fact. Teachers taught it, textbooks printed it. Nobody checked if it was actually true. When anthropologists finally checked, they found nothing. Cambridge anthropologist Caroline Humphrey spent her career looking for it. Her conclusion was simple. No example of a barter economy has ever been described. Not in any culture, not in any era, not on this planet. All evidence.
This nigga said it.
500 by double. Their total return hit 5. Wealth loves time. When I first got into real estate, maximize the upside and minimize the downside. Starting with law number 1, how you can actually compound momentum, structure, and asymmetry. So what does this mean? The job of momentum is to figure out how you can actually compound money more. The job of structure is to figure out who controls the money and what outcomes you get. The job of asymmetry is to maximize the upside and minimize the downside. Starting with law number 1, money loves speed, but wealth loves time. When I first got into real estate, I had access to several real estate agents who handed me off-market deals, and I became a flipper, meaning I would get the deal, I would rehab the property, and I would sell it. I would flip the asset. And this entire 5 years, I got the deal, I put money in, and I flipped it. Later, he was working on speed, and he was working on time. So if money loves speed and wealth loves time, well, what is speed and what is time? Speed is when you see an opportunity and you act on the opportunity. It is the shortest distance between seeing and acting on an opportunity. The faster we can shorten this distance, the faster money moves. Well, what does wealth love time mean? Wealth love time means you make a good decision and you hold on to it for a long period of time. But the crazy part is, for the first period, that actually looks like an okay decision. You don't even know if something's happening. As the time passes by, you see the value of that decision. Oftentimes, what most people do is they confuse fast action with fast results. Fast action is not equal to fast results. You want to get the speed right and you want to get the time right. Warren Buffett at Berkshire Hathaway completely flipped this idea of holding onto something for a long period of time. He bought high quality companies and he held them forever. From 1965 to 2024, Berkshire collapsed because of earned income. Well, so obsessed with buying and building. Yeah. But instead, if you actually got a loan and that of leverage, because
Level 1, the Spark. Rent is due in 9 days, and your checking account has $312 in it. That's the context. That's why, at 1 a.m. on a Thursday, you're not scrolling TikTok looking for entertainment. You're scrolling it looking for a way out. And that's when the algorithm decides you're ready. A clip flashes by. Some guy in a hoodie showing a screen that reads plus $4,820 in 18 minutes. The caption says, "Stop trading time for money." You watch it 4 times. By 3 a.m., you've downloaded MetaTrader and opened a demo account. You don't know what most of the buttons do. You click buy on EUR/USD because it's the first pair on the list. 20 minutes later, the trade is up $9. Fake dollars. But your chest feels tight in a way it hasn't in months. You think, this is it. That thought is the most expensive thing you will ever own. The next morning, you don't go to work. You spend 8 hours watching YouTube videos about pip counting, lot sizes, and something called smart money concepts. By the end of the day, your browser has 40 tabs open, and you've convinced yourself you almost understand it. You just need a system. A week later,
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I'm so tired, bro. I'm so tired, but I'm not. Oh man, damn. My gosh, 26 fucking bucks? That would have been lit. All because probably my Wi-Fi. Damn it, dude. How fast they took that shit, bro. My gosh. So annoying, dude. Yo, where am I at? Cost? What is this, bro? Is this really going up actively right now? Is this like real? Cost. 1 minute. Nigga, this is fake as fuck, bro. Bro, they took that order, bro. It's just like they seen it and they said, "Oh my gosh, the speed that they fucking they grabbed it at the same speed that I would have grabbed it if I would have had good Wi-Fi right now." Oh crap, bro. Anyway, it's about to 4 actually. Come on, Rallo. Come on, Rallo. Come on, Rallo. Come here. Come here, come here, come here, nigga. Come here. Come on, Rallo. Come on. It's gonna pour on you, idiot. Come on. Come on, Rallo. Come on. Come on, Rallo. Come on. Look, you're getting rained on. You're an idiot, bro. I'm closing the door because I don't have time for this, bro. Rallo, come on. You know what? You can get rained on. Apparently, this is just how it works in real life. Like, this is just the most unrealistic trading simulator I've ever done in my life. Honestly, God saved me from getting poured on just now. Bro, can I just like... This is weird, bro. Just agree, dude. Chat room indicator restart. $20 would have been so amazing right now, bro. Like, that deadass would have brought me the fuck up, bro. That would have brought me up.
Now that you've had a little tour, I want to give you a walkthrough of a typical day here at Warrior Trading. A typical day for me begins around 7 to 7:30 a.m. We open the chat rooms at 7 a.m., which is the time that a lot of brokers come online. A lot of retail brokers don't even allow trading before 7 a.m. So before 7 a.m., the markets usually have very light volume, not a lot of volatility, not a lot of activity. So we begin at 7 a.m. That's when the chat room's open. And when I come in, I will launch my broadcast, usually between 7 and 7:30. When my broadcast comes online, it pops out kind of like this, just a video right here in the chat platform. And from that point forward, you can listen to me while I'm giving you my pre-market commentary. You can hear me while I'm calling out what I like, what I don't like, as I'm breaking down my watch list, and you can watch my screen as I'm trading. This is a very
This guy's got
important level of
500 monitors.
transparency that you don't have in Discord rooms and really most other places. So while I'm trading, I'll show you my screen share here. You'll actually see when I'm in a trade and when I'm trading, my position window in the top corner of the chat room at all times. So this will give you a summary of the positions that I'm in, how much I'm up, how much I'm down, whether I'm in it or whether I'm out. Now at the end of each month, I upload my broker statements to the website so you can see my performance on a monthly basis. And each day I recap and I upload that usually on YouTube. So you can see a YouTube recap of each individual day. But this level of transparency is really important because I want you to know that of course these games are real, that I'm trading live so you can actually watch, and that I actually am putting money where my mouth is, that I'm gonna trade the strategy that I teach every single day. So I show up every single day, just like the mailman. Okay, so what I wanna do for a few minutes is I wanna walk you through the average day here at Warrior Trading. And in this mini class, I wanna teach you, number one, how to minimize risk while trading. We know trading is risky, and I wanna teach you some of the tips and tricks and strategies that I use to reduce my risk. Number two, I want to show you how I use this software to find stocks to day trade each day. So every single day when I'm actively trading, I'm using the same exact tools that you guys have access to. I don't have a special version of these tools. I don't have different tools I'm using. I am using the exact same tools. So I want to show you how I use these tools and how these have allowed me to make as much money as I've made. Now, tools are important, but ultimately you have to know how to use them. All right, so I'm gonna walk you through how to use them. And number three, I'm gonna show you where I buy and where I sell once I've found a great stock. All right, it's important to find strong stocks to trade, but ultimately you need to know where to buy and where to sell in order to capitalize on those opportunities. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in here. Now, I wanna start by presenting you with my trading profits here to show you that I am credible, there's authenticity here, and I'm transparent. This is something you won't see in a lot of places, which is why I spend so much time emphasizing it. When I started my small account challenge with $583.15 on January 1st, 2017, I set out really just to show that it's actually possible to trade with that small amount of money. I never expected that I would make $10 million, but it happened. And those gains have been audited, they're real, and I put them out here on our website where you guys can see. So what's important for you to know is that although these results are not typical, they are real. And my opinion, and maybe I'm biased, but my opinion is that if you want to learn how to trade, you ought to learn from someone who's made money trading the strategy that they're going to teach. This was the problem that I had when I was getting started. I was interested in learning how to trade. I was looking at different courses, but when I would look to see whether or not the people teaching those courses were actually making money trading, I couldn't tell because they didn't put their statements out there. And so I was left feeling kind of a little unsure about whether or not I could trust these different people. And I was probably right being skeptical because as we found out, there's a lot of people out there who talk a big game, but they can't back it up. So I put this out here not because I want you to assume that these results are typical, but because I want you to know that these are real. And of course, at the end of the day, how much I make is more or less useless if I'm not able to actually provide value to you. And so these are some of our amazing testimonials that we have of members who have given us 5 stars. As you can see here, over 2,200 of these testimonials. And to highlight a few of these individual members who have done exceptionally well, they're featured on our website in various places. And I might talk about a few of them in this mini class today. I am so proud of these members. Now, they're the exception, not the norm. People who have made this much money trading, certainly Manoli, who's at 2.5 million. But I always love to highlight these success stories. Okay, so, and in case you were curious, Investopedia ranked my day trading course as the best comprehensive day trading course. I was really proud of that. So I just wanted to throw that out there in case you didn't already know that. My classes are available through Warrior Starter and Warrior Pro memberships. Okay, so this right here exemplifies the power of day trading. This was an individual day where, as you can see, I walked away with $50,000 in trading profits in one day. And now let me kind of tie this together at the very beginning of this little class to the scanners. Here are the scanners right here. I found the stock on the scanner right here. It's up 80%. It had news, and I was able to capitalize on the opportunity. So I'm going to walk you through the whole process of how I was able to take a trade like this. From how I was able to manage my risk, how much risk I was taking, how I found the stock, and where I'm buying and where I'm selling. My job is to help empower you so you can learn these skills yourself. All right, so we're going to start number 1 with managing risk, understanding statistics, and profitability. All right, so success in trading, well, does come down to a certain extent to statistics. You either have the metrics of profitability or you do not. So what are the metrics of a profitable I'm selling? My job is to help empower you so you can learn these skills yourself. All right, so we're going to start number 1 with managing risk, understanding statistics, and profitability. All right, so success in trading, well, does come down to a certain extent to statistics. You either have the metrics of profitability or you do not. So what do the metrics of a profitable trader look like? And what is the metrics that we want to aim for? What I look for whenever I'm thinking about taking a trade is my risk versus my reward, my risk to reward ratio. So the conventional wisdom is that you should never risk more than you stand to make. There are some people who will in fact risk more than they stand to make, and they can still do really well, but their accuracy has to be very, very high. So what I always encourage is for traders to focus on a risk to reward ratio where you're risking $1 to make $2 based on ratio. You could risk 10 to make 20, you could risk 100 to make 200, or 1,000 to make 2,000, or 10,000 to make 20,000. It doesn't really matter, but it's a 2-to-1 ratio. With the 2-to-1 ratio, you actually only need to be right 33% of the time in order to break even. And thus, you have set the bar much lower to be successful. Now, if you inverted that and you risk $2 to make only $1, you'd actually have to be right 67% of the time to break even. And I think that that's an unreasonable expectation for most beginner traders. Even experienced traders don't often trade at 67% success. I recently did a challenge with one of my Warrior Pro graduates. We did a head-to-head 10-day face-off, and his accuracy was only about 48%. He still made money because his profit-loss ratio was good, but the accuracy was low for him. So I would encourage traders to focus most importantly on having a strong profit-loss ratio. All right, profit-loss ratio is very important. So that comes in 2 aspects. Number 1, you're thinking on a trade-by-trade basis. Every trade you're looking at, you're thinking about, okay, I need to be thinking about 2-to-1. I risk 100 to make 200, so on and so forth. But it's also when you total out all of your trades. So when you look at all of the trades you've ever taken, look at your average winners and look at your average losers. And that will tell us your profit loss ratio in averages in totality. And ultimately, if you've taken 1,000 trades or something like that, and you have a negative profit loss ratio, this speaks to the fact that there's something in your trading that we need to work on. I am a huge proponent of using metrics to help you analyze your performance. So you'll hear me talk about this a lot, certainly if you become a student here at Warrior Trading. I want to encourage you to look at that data and to mine that data, because for me,